Hello and welcome to a very independent episode of Leviathan News. Since we won't be here tomorrow because it is are we doing tomorrow? We'll
Yeah,
see.
why not? What? When did we decide that?
I don't know. Aren't you guys gonna go get like drunk and barbecue a bit?
Not at 7 a.m. And also, we're not an American show.
And I'm not even in America. I'm coming to you from France.
Oh, really? Bonjour.
Oh, Bastille Day. Sorry.
Yeah, the 14th. The 14th will be off.
Garrett was like, I need to riot. I need to burn some stuff. Break into some things. Where are you?
Currently in Paris, but tomorrow we'll be heading to Barcelona. So any Leviathan squids hanging out in Barcelona, hit me up. Don't mug me.
Okay, throw some Molotov cocktails while you're there for us. Yeah.
Hey, us Americans have a lot to learn from the French about standing up for ourselves and like not just taking the boot of capitalism on our neck with a smile.
Ha! That's the tentacles of Leviathan. Yeah, we don't really have like a history of overthrowing the government multiple times.
Yeah, we have a history of like eating shit and asking for more is because we agree that, or we think that one day we can be billionaires. That's the American tradition.
I mean, like, or making $1 billion somewhere else and then moving to America.
Yeah, I mean, we'd definitely do that if that were in that case.
So big week, actually big weekend in some ways. And I don't know. Let's start with some like non-DeFi stories and then we'll get to DeFi here in a bit. So the Euler hacker came out over the weekend in this like
Euler.
Every time I read it, it's like Euler.
Yeah,
like
you just need to like beat it into your head because otherwise some math nerds will make fun of you.
So the Euler hacker went public for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because like the police found him.
I don't think this is real, honestly.
You don't think it's real?
There's no fucking way this guy understood one of like the more sophisticated hacks in the last year, stealing $200 million, but had to Google how to deploy smart contract. And then when he saw an article that said $50,000, he got scared. Like, what?
Exactly. Like he ended up with $200 million, but deploying $5,000 to $50,000 smart contract was,
which is not even like he just read some stupid Stack Overflow, and that's not even right. Like this is fake. This is so fake. You know, he's trying to whitewash his reputation. I don't know why CoinDesk is involved. They probably just took a fat bribe. That guy has fat money. Like this is just dumb.
What if it was him though?
Then what are we even doing? We're now like the only takeaway is that like not only are you guys so dumb that you're losing money trading meme coins, but it turns out you don't even need to be smart enough to do these. Like what? You know,
but look at the DAO hack. Remember the DAO hack was just like some random new guy who was learning Solidity and like called a function in a way that he shouldn't because he was.
Yeah, but that was literally the first DAO. It was like basically the first smart contract.
Yeah, but like like you don't have to be some sophisticated Lazarus hacker to stumble upon something.
I mean, for people who are like Garrett, you're the most deep in smart contract programming of all of us. Like as somebody in the intermediate, I read this as like the equivalent of saying like I figured out how to break into Fort Knox and like steal all the gold, but like I couldn't figure out how to run like a hand dolly to carry something that weighed that much.
I don't know though. Have you do you remember the TV show like America's Dumbest Criminals or whatever it's called?
Yeah, sure.
Like where they have like these people that like pull off like what you'd think would be sophisticated heists and then they do something incredibly stupid. Like it might be the case like.
But deploying a smart contract, like this is for me, this is like a chef like making a beef Wellington and being like, but I don't know how to take a loaf of bread and turn it into breadcrumbs. You know,
I mean, stuff like that happens, right? Like it's like, oh, don't ask me. I'm just a pastry chef. I don't know how to do a beef Wellington, right? Like it is like, I mean, it strains a little bit of credibility.
I just don't buy it. And in this industry where we're all shady motherfuckers and nobody's telling anybody why they're putting the content that they're out there, like I just don't buy this.
You know, you can read code without
trust the hacker.
Yeah.
Come on, this is. If anything, it's just whitewashing his reputation. Oh, he's such a good guy. He didn't even know. He just like, come on.
Well, don't you think that like before they took the interview, they verified that he owned the address?
No. Have you read a CoinDesk article?
Yeah.
I think they got paid to write this. I don't know by who, but I mean, I just don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Okay. Well, North Koreans did a false flag to get that story out.
North Koreans don't give the money back, so I don't
Yeah.
think it's North Korea.
Yeah, I don't think it was North Korea. Maybe he just came across it, had 200 million, kept it for 26 days, and sent it back.
And then
Easy story.
decided to write an article about how dumb he was.
Yeah.
Okay.
In other like bigger macro news, so a couple of days ago, so Celsius got approval to start selling off its altcoins for Bitcoin and ETH starting last week. So they've got about a few $100 million portfolio. Looking at the big ones, they've got some, I believe, the Celsius token, Polygon Matic, Near, and some other ones as well too. So they're going to be dumping on us over the next few days.
Yeah, but dumping into the only thing I care about buying. So anyone who want to go shopping for ETH, you probably missed the boat for a few weeks.
Yeah. Also, so Mythical Games raised $37 million. It's pretty nice to build some like Web3 games. That's cool.
I mean, I really, really hope they have like a real game and it's cool. And because like we all know any single person who's played a video game and like dedicated time to like achieve something and then it just like exists in this stupid game. Like we all understand that blockchain is like tailor built for this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's been like 10 years and we haven't even seen anything that's like actually not just a cash grab or like anything, you know. So I am like a little interested and confused why it's taken this long, but I'm a fan of VCs throwing their money wherever they want to throw it, and if game companies are receiving it, like let's see what they got.
Yeah, it's just like I think there's really, unless you have to like build it into like the game itself from day one, and if it's not there and you try to add it later, it just doesn't work.
I know, but 10 years, right? Like, I'm surprised it's been so long.
I know. So they have a couple of like trading card games. It looks like NFL Rivals. They also have this like Blankos marketplace, and so they're going to be raising money for a title called Nitro Nation World Tour, a mobile racing game that sells NFT cars.
I mean, that's obviously not going to work. Like, because you have your NFT car, and then what are you supposed to like use it in different games? Like, I don't.
No, you just use it in the game. Like, think about NFTs. They don't have to
be interoperable. Like,
you don't have to be interoperable. Doesn't have to be.
But then you don't like. I don't give a shit that my World of Warcraft items are not on blockchain because there's an in-house market. You know, like.
Yeah, but do you remember the horse racing game?
No.
That was like NFTs. You didn't play this one? This thing was like huge for a while.
Again, I joined this industry in like fall of 2021.
It's called like Zed Run. Yeah, this is it. So Zed Run was this game that came out in like the NFT run, right? It was huge. Absolutely huge. Let me pull up this website here, and you could buy these like horses, right? And look, they've had $158 million in marketplace volume, 3.5 million races run, and $60 million run. So there's like real money in this, and like the marketplace is like a real thing, and you can like buy horses.
But what's the game?
It's a horse racing game.
But like you just click start and then it like they race and then somebody wins, because that's not a game, that's just gambling.
No, I mean there's more to it, you know, but like the actual horses like sell for a lot.
Right. So, but what I'm saying is that like
look. This is it's a Matic game, right? And look, they've had 42,000 ETH total volume.
Yeah, and I think degens are going to gamble on whatever they can gamble on. All I'm saying is that like blockchain
this gold horse sold for 48 ETH.
Dude, I get it. What I'm saying is that like if we're not talking about like Ponzi trading and financialized bullshit, but we're actually talking about like the purpose of Ethereum, like in blockchain, on a like just creating a game with in-game assets and then being like, oh, but the assets are on chain and people can trade them on chain is not an innovation. Like all these games have assets where people trade real money for them all the time. EVE Online, World of Warcraft, like yes, absolutely.
Well, no, but like, well, like those World of Warcraft never had like a real money.
Tell that to my parents who used to ground me for spending real money on gold.
I understand, but it wasn't like officially provided by World of Warcraft. I would buy gold from Chinese gold farmers.
Dude, right? I mean, you probably haven't played World of Warcraft in a while, but like there's an auction house where there's in-game gold and you can buy in-game gold with dollars. So like, yeah, there's a in-game economy with dollars.
Sure, but okay, I understand. But I think there's more to it than like the NFT.
All I'm saying is that creating an NFT game, it's actually exactly what you said. You can't just create a game and throw NFTs on it and call it a game. And like, again, this horse racing thing, there's nothing to do with blockchain there. They're just using blockchain as a gimmick so that like when you like, but again, you can run that exact same technology with no blockchain and nothing changes.
Can we talk about like let's talk about Magic the Gathering, right? Because the biggest news story actually that happened over like the weekend is that this Magic the Gathering card. So they just released this like Lord of the Rings card set, right? Go away, Gizmodo. And in that one card set, there was this one ring, right? Like the one ring from the show, and people were just buying hundreds of packs to find this thing. And immediately upon finding it, someone offered $2 million for the card. So,
yeah, but dude, Magic is fucking bizarro. Like, go just Google right now, like how much does a Black Lotus cost? And it's like that game is wild. Regularly they have cards that are above 6 figures.
Yeah, so just like that's an NFT. Like,
no, but it's not. That's exactly my point. It's not an NFT. It is an in-game asset in which there's an economy around, but it's not an NFT.
Sure. But if you're going to make it digital, if you're going to take those cards and make them digital, you just make them NFTs.
No. World of Warcraft, League of Legends, like all of these games have in-game assets that are not NFTs that have real economies around them.
Yeah, but my thing about that is that, okay, so if Blizzard went out of business tomorrow, which it never will, all of those in-game assets would just be gone. But if you NFTize them, you could have a groundswell of like public developers come and like build a new game where those assets.
Okay, like let's go to the Zed game, right? Like let's say the Zed game tomorrow, like the actual engine that's running this or whatever, like the centralized company goes down.
Mm-hmm.
Like then the race goes down. And then you have to start over and like, yeah, you can use those creative assets, but like, why does it matter that it's on chain? Look at it. Ryan C has a great like Counter-Strike Go skins are like they're like probably the most important internet economy thing outside of porn, you know?
Yeah. So I think
just like slapping like your assets on chain is a great way to raise millions and millions of dollars and get a bunch of people involved and get a bunch of degens to like turn your shit into a casino. And like we've seen that a billion times and like continue doing it, I guess. I just haven't actually seen a Web3 game that is not a gimmick.
Well, I think we're still in the early stages, right? You got to these things take time to figure out, and you know we've seen some games do okay. It's just hard to build games. I think like you have to build the game first, and that's the hardest thing, and then you can figure out how to slap an economy on there on top.
Rex, this is probably before your time, but what do you think of CryptoKitties, which for years was like the only use case of Ethereum and took up like 90% of the block space?
I mean, I think CryptoKitties is exactly what we have today, which is like we don't have any like you guys know this. I don't know if I've said this on stream, but like I really believe that DeFi, like we all look at NFTs and think like, okay, that was a fad and people got super involved and crazy and hyped. And like, yes, like this deposited some like primitives like ERC 721s or 1155s, but like the idea that we're going to be paying millions of dollars for JPEGs like probably isn't going to last long term, right? Agree with that or not? I believe that. I also believe that's true for DeFi. I think that DeFi is like basically a bubble in which like we all just got super hyped up on this like incredibly limited space inside the EVM in which we could do stuff. We all got convinced that we're like super smart financial blah, blah, blah. And like, to answer your direct question, like, yeah, I think CryptoKitties was a fad that like really didn't have anything to do with Web3. All it had to do with just like financial speculation and gambling. And I think that's
but the economic part is inherent. Like the economic value transfer or auction or whatever you want to call it is inherent to like all of crypto, right? Like it's all
Yeah,
about.
I think and economics is inherent to crypto, and because of that, like we have all convinced ourselves that in order to like build crypto and like everything needs to be financialized. And as like someone who's been in real finance, like
But I wouldn't call it financialized because that would mean some sort of like interest rates or lending, which like is something you build on top.
literally every one of our conversation breaks down into, okay, how can we NFT it so that it can be
But I would just say that like crypto unlocks the ability to find unbounded price discovery in the digital space. And this is really just tied to the like meme value of whatever you're trading. And
right. And
meme is yeah, and yeah.
I think that that's not crypto. I think that that is like a reflection of like how early we are.
No, it is. It is because like look at Bitcoin, right? Like Bitcoin's price. Yeah, but Bitcoin's price. No, but it's not garbage. Like Bitcoin's price. Okay, well, it's. I think you should reassess that.
Okay, but like I can have my opinion, and I'm like pretty well educated, and I think it's garbage.
Okay, well, I don't think it's garbage, and I think that its price is a reflection of its meme value, right? Because
which is garbage. Yeah, I agree.
Code, right? And so, the more that it can meme itself into existence, the higher the price is going to be. So when you look at these NFTs, it's the same structure, right? It's like CryptoKitties had its time.
So, dude, I totally agree with you. I think what we disagree is I think that's garbage and you don't, which is fine. But like I think we're agreeing.
Yeah, but anything can capture like meme value.
I don't think that's good though. I think that's like a reflection of like capitalism like taking over our society.
I don't know. I don't think it's capitalism because like capitalism is an ideology that talks about like the division of labor, right? Here we're just talking about like there is no division of labor in crypto, right? It's maybe you could argue that there's like the developers and then the like people who are buying it, but I don't really see that. Like that's
always how we talk about it. Builders versus like
traders,
we say tourists versus settlers versus like
mercenaries. Yeah, but I don't see that there's like in that like division of labor just doesn't exist in the same way in crypto, and especially for projects which have like open and transparent code and everybody knows the rules. I think it's more like a game, right? I think of most of crypto as just iterations on different games that people want to play.
And I think that is a reflection of like how early we are. And I think these games are all going to melt away once the technology is better. Like,
yeah, but we don't see.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
But it's an important part, right? Because like the game. I think the game is inherent to the actual system itself.
Right. So games have winners and losers, right? And like that is the analogy I'm trying to draw to capitalism, where like there's going to be winners, there's going to be losers.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a difference. Like real life is not zero sum at the end of the day, right? Like these games that we play, they are zero sum. It's a totally different concept.
God, I hope what we're doing in crypto is not zero sum. Jesus.
No, I mean like like the price of Bitcoin going up or down is just zero sum, right? Like it creates like value outside of that, obviously, for in small amounts, but really like it's just like when you're speculative, if you're looking at it through a speculative lens, it's just zero. It's just you either buy Bitcoin and it goes up or down, right?
Yeah, that's why I think it's garbage.
And it's the same for I mean like ETH has other things that it can do, right? But it's still the price of ETH goes up or down, and it's speculative. So like, but the speculation is what gives the like liquidity and depth and the ability for people to do all the other things that we like.
Right. What I'm saying is we've focused on that, and like you can be like a DeFi maxi and think that that's what's important. And I'm not telling anyone that they're wrong. What I'm saying is that I think that in the same way that NFTs was a fad that created all this like energy into like art collecting and which like now that the energy has passed through, we're realizing like a lot of it really was just fads. Like that's what I think that DeFi is. And I think that's because nobody who actually does finance in the real world is allowed to touch this shit. And so like the idea that like a bunch of kids fucking around is like again, I think that like DeFi was the last narrative bubble, and I don't think it's going to be the next narrative bubble. And I don't even know how we got here from games.
No, I mean we're talking about like the zero sum aspect of it. We're talking about like how the games work or what it means, and then we expanded it to the broader ecosystem.
Yeah, I got it. So I think what we're doing for games right now is essentially taking regular ass games, taking the regular ass assets in the games, putting them on the blockchain so that like our community brain melts and we don't even think about it, and then we just go and gamble and speculate.
Yeah, but that's pretty
Axie
like
Infinity.
yeah, but that's like pretty low rent, right? Like the best games are going to like intertwine like Ponzi-nomics with the game itself, and it's going to be able to self-perpetuate long enough that it creates like a base which then it has staying power, which is the same for any other meme coin, right? But that's really, again, it's like incredibly high risk from like a game standpoint, because not only does the game have to be good, but then you also have to like nail the Ponzi-nomics as well too, or like the meme coin aspect or something.
Or consider building a game that's not based on fucking Ponzi-nomics and meme coin and like speculating on dumbasses.
I guess. I mean, like, look, at the end of the day, like, there has to be some way to integrate this stuff. And so people should try, and there should be like infinite variability on the games that are being played. And if people like it,
I'm not telling people not to do stuff. I'm just saying, like, it's pretty shocking to me. It's been 10 years of blockchain technology. We haven't seen anything that isn't just taking a game, slapping blockchain on it, and then calling it a Web3 game and raising millions of dollars.
Yeah, but it's hard from like a game development standpoint, right? Because you're essentially just like slapping on a.
Like, no, that's what everyone else is doing, and that's what I'm commenting on is dumb. And like, someone's going to not do that and change the industry.
Yeah, of course, somebody will figure it out.
Yeah.
So they should just again infinitely develop on. Okay, well, let's keep that discussion there. I think we've gone through everything. Let me take a look at the list. So, what else is happening here? Oh yeah, if you're okay. Speaking of, the nice segue from there is that Azuki DAO has had some pretty crazy stuff happen to it over the last week. So Azuki came out and dropped a new NFT set called Elementals, which looked like the Azuki set just with some minor changes, and they raised $40 million on the back of that, which led to the Azuki price tanking by about 30%. The community was not happy. And so there's been a couple of proposals through the Azuki DAO that happened. One notable one passed, actually. So it voted to pursue criminal action against Zagabon. And then it also, the Azuki DAO wants to hire lawyers and file a lawsuit against Zagabon for rugging multiple projects. They want the DAO wants to retrieve the 20,000 ETH that was raised through the Elemental sale and return it to the DAO to promote the growth of the entire Azuki community and provide rewards and incentives for the artists, content creators, and builders. And then they want to organize a research team as well too. So fun stuff.
I mean, isn't the Azuki DAO not even associated with the company that does Azuki?
No, it's like its own thing, and like it's more of just like a vote of no confidence in the team.
And then they got hacked, right?
No, they didn't get hacked. It's just like the Elemental sale, like they essentially the Azuki team like dropped the same NFT like design, right? Imagine if CryptoPunks came out and like dropped another 10,000 CryptoPunks. Not that they could, or like Bored Ape Yacht Club like recreated the original ape collection and just sold it again, right? To cash in. That's essentially what happened with Azuki.
Hold on, we're doing this live. I'm pretty sure Azuki DAO was hacked.
Oh, right.
$68,000 worth of Ether.
Well, no, I mean, so the the proposal like wants to hire a lawyer to take legal action against Zagabon, whose real name is Alex Zhu, for rugging multiple projects. So they want to claw back $40 million of ETH, which was earned from the Elementals NFT collection. And yeah, so the Azuki DAO claims to be made up of OG Azuki holders. And yeah, so it's not like it's non-binding, right? But it seems that the community is like really pissed at the Azuki creator.
Yeah, so it seems like a bunch of people just decided to call themselves Azuki DAO. Again, I just sent you something so you can check to make sure I'm not going crazy. But I think that on top of this like madness, this Azuki DAO also like were hacked for 5 figure, which is not that much money, but I don't know how much money this random group of people has. So like, I don't know. I mean, this whole story is just like wackety sacks.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird how like the team is able to extract this money and then it's gone, right? The DAO has no control over what that $40 million.
No, but again, it's not a DAO. Like, imagine for Frax. Like, imagine if the three of us was just like, you know what, Frax DAO.
Yeah,
we are going to reimburse every single Frax with like Ether because we don't believe in this. We voted. Like, that's what's happening.
I guess they want to try to get the brand back. Like, I guess they want to hire a lawyer and try to go get the brand. And if there's enough like support from the community, they'll be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the like times you really see that DAOs aren't real is like in these moments when people are like something is that a lot of people consider are unfair happening, and then you like, okay, like this is the Web3 community, we're supposed to be like open and transparent in voting, and then like when push comes to shove, like look what's happening.
Yeah.
Just imagine being the like run-of-the-mill Azuki holder, and you have to decide which side of the Civil War to choose. The one that's just gonna like.
Well, I'd be
release,
pissed.
like,
I'd be pissed about this elemental thing. Like, it essentially just diluted the community.
The side that's doing elementals, or the side
Did they
that
not deliver to the community though?
No, I mean the elementals were like exactly the same as the original ones.
What did they promise them?
What?
What was like? Did they just say send us this ETH and you're going to get a nice?
Yeah. You didn't know what you were getting before the reveal.
I don't know if that's a problem.
Like, you're dumb enough to send 40 million to them for some like, I don't know.
In this industry, like for real talk, like why is that a problem? They probably won't be able to do it again. Like, I wouldn't send it a second time, but like, what did they do morally wrong here?
I think the argument here that we probably need to have is around like consumer protections when it comes to.
You mean regulation?
Yes, like not regulation in the form of consumer protection, right? So,
okay,
like obviously there is none, but should you be able to like refund your purchase, right? Should you have some sort of consumer protection in case the team does something stupid like this?
Or did Azuki, whatever, I guess it's not a DAO, which we've learned.
Yeah, it's not a DAO, it's a team.
Did Mr. Azuki do anything wrong?
No, I mean, like, they raised $40 million in what they say is a legitimate sale.
I mean, it seems like a legitimate sale to me.
Yeah. Well, we will keep on that story. OKX, shout out to Hyder at OKX for signing a $70 million sponsorship deal with Man City. Over the next 3 years, they are going to have a sleeve where FTX, or not FTX, OKX is going to be shown. It's really like the only major party doing crypto sponsorships nowadays. I mean, I guess you have crypto.com doing the Lakers Stadium, but that was back in the bull run. We haven't really seen too many sports.
Excuse me, I have to look at that eyesore like at least once a week, so it's here.
Yeah, but there hasn't been too many sports deals since the bear market has been here.
Well, wasn't the lesson of the last bull run that once like we start seeing crypto sponsorships of sports stadiums, that's a huge top signal? Like,
I don't know. You know, like, I think Hyder has like pretty much free reign to go out and do the stuff that he's doing. I mean, he lined up the F1 team. He's gotten close with Man City. So
yeah, no, I mean, of course he has like the right and the ability to do it. I think what Garrett's just saying is like by the time you're reaching the point where you're dropping like 10 figures on sports sponsorship deals for an industry that has nothing to do with sports, like that might be like a signal that like,
no, I don't think so. I
mean, it definitely was for FTX. It definitely was for like.
Yeah, I didn't think so last time. Last time I thought it was bullish like marker, and I'm trying to learn the lessons from last time so I don't get wrecked again.
So I worked for OKCoin for 2 years, which is the American version of OKX. Essentially, it's all the same company, right? Like it's the development team is all in China. But I would say that like during the bull run, OKX was they've always been very conservative about what they've done. They've not, obviously they're competing with Binance, but they've not done the same things. They've not tried to do the same things as Binance or FTX. And they've just been more conservative, right? And so, you know, they chose wisely, and Heiner's kind of like picked and chosen.
What do you mean they chose wisely?
Well, I mean, they've really like kind of tried to not allocate a ton of money. They've been better about their marketing deals and sponsorships. And I think their thing is that like, you know, Binance may get shut down, FTX is gone. Like, why try to act quickly, right? Like, just we're already huge. Let's just try to like rebrand and become more like friendly in the West, right?
Honestly, I don't think this is a story about the West. I think this is a story about maybe not the East, but the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know how many of you guys are sports fans out there, and particularly the business of sports, but like, there's some pretty fucking wacky stuff happening, specifically in British football, but like in all sorts of European football. And like, Man City is like one of those that gets like shuttled around between like Russian oligarchs, and right now is 81% owned by Abu Dhabi. And like, I think there's other things going on here than a fucking sponsorship deal.
Conspiracy hat time.
No, business hat time, man. Like, this is how business works. I'm not here saying like there's some like fucking Bilderberg group like doing things, but I just think that like, come on, man, $70 million. I know our brains are so broken by the numbers in this industry, but $70 million is.
Well, it's not paid up front.
I know how. Do you ever forget what I used to do? I used to do the NFL. Like, I was the main.
Okay, so how do those work? Okay, how do those work? Like, let's say I go and want to do a $70 million sponsorship. Like, what does it look like from the business side?
I mean, it depends on like how many years it is. Like, there's no temp. Like, with this amount of money, you're talking about like fully bespoke deals that are like super private and super like. I don't know, man. $70 million for a sponsorship is like essentially what they're saying is like, we are betting our entire brand around like the idea that we need to like get like uneducated retail into here through mass media events, right? And I think there's a reason why Sam Bankman-Fried was very much going down that route. And like Curve Cap, I think you're right. Like, I think you're right to like look at this and just like get bad vibes.
Yeah, but look at all the jersey sales that are going to come. I mean, this is the jersey that will be sold.
Okay,
right? Like
the jersey sales.
No, but I mean, it's free advertising, right? Like everybody's walking around.
Not free.
Oh, it's not free, but like
$70 million.
Okay, but I'm saying like once somebody like all the jerseys, people are going to buy these jerseys.
Let me put it this way: how often do you fly Emirates because they have it on a football jersey?
I don't know. I just open up Kayak or like Google Flights or something and buy flights. I don't really ever like choose by brand, right? Maybe if I was
a very good argument why not to spend $70 million on a jersey.
Maybe if I was flying more, if I had like actual business needs to fly and I could expense it or something, that then I'd probably like choose one brand, right? Especially if I was making like trips to like regular trips somewhere, but like I don't, so there's no need for me to have it. Or if I had a business or something that needed flights, then you go work out a deal. But like this is more just about like brand awareness. Like I think
I mean, again, it's the same play as FTX. Like we have to admit that, and we can say that it like it's for different reasons or different things are going to happen, but it is the same play.
Well, I mean, at some point, like these branding partnerships make sense, right? Like you're big enough, you have money, and you want to spend it. So like there's only so many sports.
I'm not saying this is a bad thing for them. I'm not saying they're evil. I'm not saying there's like a Bilderberg group like about to. All I'm saying is I'm agreeing with Garrett, which is like this normal. Like we just learned in the last cycle that this is the moment where like things are too hot.
Yeah. Well, shout out Hyder. Congratulations. Nice deal. And maybe we'll start watching some soccer now. Or football, whatever.
I won't.
Okay. Let's talk about some DeFi stuff. So Eigenlayer is going to be opening deposits for restaking. They're going to be increasing the cap on July 10th, which is 1 week from today. I believe the cap has been 10 million up until this point. And so, right. So the cap at that point is going to be raised to 15,000 tokens per LSD with no individual deposit limit. And then once the sum total of all LSD deposits reaches 30,000 tokens, a global pause on restaking will be initiated. So they're going to take in 30,000 new ETH, about $60 million.
I mean, I'm like could not be a bigger fan of Sriram, and like really think that the concept of restaking is going to change Ethereum and is like super important. And like, but I mean, they're like literally just absorbing ETH so that it can sit there.
Yeah.
Like there's no restaking services. There's like, it's just, again, we're all sheep. There's a new project. They raise a bunch of money.
Well,
you can deposit. Okay, now the deposit can't like raise.
Eigenlayer token airdrop.
Yeah, again, that's all we're here for. All we're here for, just tokens and memes and dumping on each other and zero sum.
But there is going to be an Eigenlayer token, and the way that you get it is swapping your ETH into it. Do they get any yield from that? Do they take?
I don't know that for a fact. Like, let's not.
Nobody does. Here. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Stop saying that, dude. Like, we don't know that. Unless
okay, no, nobody knows. Nobody knows. But like, show me a big crypto project which doesn't have a token, especially one which is going to be mostly on chain and like hopefully have a DAO at some point.
Sounds like Leviathan.
No, I mean, like Eigenlayer it'd be great to have a token. I know they're
great for them.
Yeah, great for them. Yeah.
Like their whole shtick, literally their entire concept of Eigenlayer is like, okay, everyone's making their own shitty token and we're fracturing liquidity and trust, and like we should stop doing that. We should use ETH instead. But we're gonna make a token.
Yeah, we're gonna make a token. I always like tokens. I think tokens are great, especially.
I think that they are like the original sin of our industry.
Okay, we'll move on. Yearn Finance is going to be activating O Wi-Fi rewards for VE Wi-Fi. So essentially, if the Yearn came to Jesus and saw that the VE system is really the only system that works and is relevant and can capture value long term, and so they added it a couple of months ago, probably 6 months ago. And so now they're going to be adding O Wi-Fi, which is a reward token given to VE Wi-Fi vote escrow holders for helping govern the protocol and also locking up their rewards. So the O Wi-Fi allows for discounted purchase of Wi-Fi, and that's really dependent on how much Wi-Fi is in the pools. So it's kind of close to what Andre Kroning designed for the Keeper protocol. O Wi-Fi allows its holder to obtain Wi-Fi that's been bought back by the protocol at a discount from the current spot market price, with the discount rate varying based on the proportion of VE Wi-Fi locked. So as more VE Wi-Fi is locked, the discount decreases. When more VE Wi-Fi, like when less is locked, the discount increases to attract more locking.
Cool. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I missed the Yearn boat by just being too late to this industry. So it doesn't have like a warm, fuzzy place in my heart. And I mean, yeah, I very much take issue with what you said, that the VE system is the only way to do stuff. But I agree that it's like the most trendy and the most like on narrative right now. And I think that it makes sense for them to do it. So like, I don't know, good for them.
Yeah, the Yearn devs are Chads, like, though, no question about it. They're some of the best in the business.
Yes, I agree with that. Garrett, what's happening with what's the overall like what's happening with Yearn and Curve at the moment? Is that still the biggest partnership, or are they branching out, or
That's a good question. I haven't heard too much. It's not kind of my alley. I do know that they were very instrumental in helping with one of the recent integrations with one of the exchanges. Like they needed it. I think it was 1inch. Like they needed some help getting CurveUSD routing through there or something. I might have that mixed up. Might have been TriCrypto. And like there's a Yearn devs that basically wrote it all to do it. So I think there's still a lot of behind the scenes talk. But I really don't know what's going on with Yearn.
I don't know how
other
Yearn,
than like.
it's so weird how Yearn used to be like top dog forever, right? Like they were just number one, and then Convex comes along, and within a month or 2 or 3, it's just everything's moved over to Convex. And Yearn, even though Yearn has like way more CRV than Convex, or sorry, no, that's not true. So Convex has like the most, but Yearn kind of like lost its spot. Like Yearn could have been what Convex was, but just they're
at this point it's like ancient history, right? But there was like a fair amount of people within the Curve community that like really didn't like Yearn. And I thought this was like kind of misplaced hate, but they basically said that like, you know, Yearn was dumping Curve tokens, and therefore like there's like some people like trying to like do an attack on Yearn. But whatever, like it seems like it's water under the bridge now, because like the solution to it was when Convex came out, like no one cared about the fact that like Yearn's vaults were basically dumping Curve because Convex's vaults were locking it. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because Curve, like those are people who cared about Curve price, and now Curve price is in the gutter, and back then Curve price is way higher. So it's like
yeah, and I think like the whole thing kind of went moot anyway after Convex hit the 50%, and then again, like I think the biggest argument for why C2TP is like Michael or like Michael's wife or whatever is just that like we hit 50% on Convex, and then like everyone gets a whitelist, you know, gets a whitelist, and so I just think that like this whole issue of like is Yearn a good player or not, like is totally just like less relevant when there's a bunch of players at the table.
I've not heard that conspiracy theory before, that C2TP is just Michael or Michael's wife.
No, it can't be, because Michael would not program in Solidity.
Oh, Michael's wife?
Yeah,
don't know about Michael's wife.
Does he have a brother? Is Michael a brother?
Not that I know of. He'd probably divorce his wife if she wrote in Solidity.
No. I mean, obviously that was a joke, and I mean, I think there's a legitimate chance that C2TP is Michael, except for like I've talked to them both, and like I haven't looked at their code, right? But I do think that
C2TP
on Discord. But I think that like I just, to me, like the whole Convex story is like a little too close for comfort. And again, like this is our whole industry. I'm not trying to like throw specific shade on there, but I just, they hit 50% and then everyone gets a whitelist. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very unclear who C2TP is, even for like people who like know a lot about Curve. But I don't think it's like a conspiracy theory to be like Michael has some close friends or Charlie has some close friends or something that like they suggested tokenomics to.
Yeah, again,
I think it's definitely someone they know very closely.
Yeah, I am someone who will like happily throw shade on this stream. Like, to be clear, I'm not trying to throw shade at C2TP on here. I'm just trying to say facts, or like say the situation and then my interpretation of it. But that's not a negative thing. It just is what it is.
Mm-hmm. So in other news, Lido has voted to stake 20,000 ETH from its treasury into Steth.
I mean, my only question for that, literally only question, is like, well, was that ETH just like shit that they raised, or was that like from their commission from the staked ETH already? Where did that 20K come from?
It's a good question.
Otherwise, I don't care. Like, yeah, Lido should stake ETH. Great.
Wait, is it Lido or Lido?
Lido.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, I'm drunk. It's the
2nd
of July.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. 3rd of July, right? Yeah. There's a really cool story, actually. So this one was interesting because we always talk about, or there's been like this big narrative about Uniswap LPs, how they always get screwed, how they're always, just getting LVR'd away, and that the returns are not as great as they should be. And so this is a thread that came out over the weekend. Guy was doing some just basic thought analysis. Essentially, this is what an AMM is. essentially it's like the spread is 2F, right? And when you compare it to like sexes. So when you buy a little bit in the AMM, right, it flips here. So the 2F changes. You actually get less assets on one side, more assets on the other side. It's just like the way the AMMs work. And the narrator of this thread calls it a horrible way to quote, or author of the thread. So what his idea is that in order to combat this, so he wants to do this. So like as the price starts to go up, so let's say you have block where prices keep going up, he wants to raise the fee for buying as the price goes higher, and he wants to lower the fee for ETH as the price goes lower. And so this would still keep the block, you can see here. So in this case, it's like you get a fee discount over here on the bottom side, you get a fee increase over here on the upper side. So it works out to be 2F still, but it would increase the amount of fees that LPs are able to take back. So running some back testing, the difference is about 10%, which is quite a lot actually when talking about LP fees. And so I don't know how hard this is to code. Somebody's probably going to make a AMM like this at some point, but it is good to see some interesting developments on this LVR versus IL debate.
For me, there's a couple things going on here. One is like as much as like I love and respect the Uniswap team and like shippers, like I'm like have huge questions about Uni v4, right? And like the reason I have huge questions about Uni v4 is because it just like we're layering in so much complexity, like outrageous amounts of complexity. And like the magic of Uniswap was like y times x equals k, and it's so simple and you just put it in. And so all to say is that like I think that there's like we trivially just say like, oh, let's just like make this little change which makes things like super complex and has these like financial outputs without like really wrapping your head around like what those changes like entail and like what they mean for the holistic system. So that's like my first takeaway is like it's just so easy to say that and not like it's just so easy to say that. And then two, the other thing is like the flip side of like LPs doing better but because they get more fees is like very, very simple. Traders pay more fees, which means they do worse, which means they use your AMM less.
Yeah.
Super simple. Super. Yeah. And like, you know, the trade-off between LPs and traders is like results in volume. That's not just like a theoretical trade-off.
Yeah. I think the main issue with Uniswap though is that because the fees are not dynamic, you're not able to adjust the fees upwards in times of like low volume, right? So or essentially like it makes like because you're not able to have dynamic fees with Uniswap, the returns that you get as an LP are less than what you would make as like a market maker on a centralized exchange.
But that's just how economies of scale work, right?
No, it's just the code itself. I mean, this is what they're trying to address with like Uni v4, right? With the hooks and everything.
Yeah, so. I think it's like, I think the mistake here is to like look at Uniswap. Let's just stick with Uniswap v2. Like look at Uniswap and think like, okay, if I compare this to a SEX, it is like unoptimal against like all the metrics that SEX cares about. And so like, let me like alter my system so that it looks more like a SEX. And like my thought would be like, let's not do that at fucking all. And if like our Uniswap like is giving us like, let's say financial behaviors that we don't want, like it makes more sense to me to like, let's say hedge out IL as opposed to like break the system.
Yeah, but what you really want long term is the efficiency of the AMMs.
Well, that's what you want. Like that's not like a
yeah. But if you want like significant, if you want to steal away a significant portion of liquidity away from these centralized exchanges, other than regulatory clampdowns, the best way to do it is to become more efficient and to make it to the point where market makers can earn just as much on a DeFi AMM as they could providing liquidity or like market making inside a centralized exchange.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that that's what people who have financialized brain rot like think. Like again, this goes back to my whole thing about I think that like DeFi as a narrative was last cycle, and I think that like this like incredibly like bizarre focus on capital efficiency is like holding us back. You want to know what the other side of capital efficiency is? Risk and instability.
Okay.
So like that's the systems we want, or that are just more risky and unstable.
Well, the iron law of decentralization is that the more decentralized something is, the more volatile it is. So
That's definitely not true. What?
Yeah.
No, that is not true at all.
Well, curious, how do you define decentralized?
In the sense of like, just more decentralized something is. You look at Bitcoin, right? Very decentralized asset, highly volatile. Same thing goes for ETH as well,
but like,
too.
dude, just on its face, that doesn't make sense. Like, if I own 50% of an asset and I decide to do anything, I'm going to move the market. But if it's super decentralized and I only own 0.05%, it doesn't matter what I can do.
No, it has nothing to do with the like the holdings, right? Like the holdings are the holdings.
No, decentralized. We're talking about decentralized, which is holdings.
Mm-hmm. Of course, like the way that you achieve like lower volatility. I mean, this is a totally different discussion, right? The way that you achieve lower volatility is by centralizing an asset.
No. The way you achieve higher volatility is by centralizing an asset.
Mm-mm.
That's how monopolies work. That's how, like, because you get pricing control, and like the people who have pricing control, like, don't have this. They don't care about price stability.
So coming back to the discussion about the thing, though, Core Finance actually said that their AMMs actually use this idea. So Garrett, do you have any insight onto what they're talking about? So this is how like the fees get raised. So I think this is how the interest rates like change based on the imbalances in the pool.
Oh yeah, if you're talking about the borrow rates, the monetary policy feeding back in based on the balances. So yeah, indirectly. I don't think it's directly affecting the fees within the PegKeeper pools, but I could be mistaken.
It's like an indirect mechanism that does it.
I mean, I like the Curve Finance apparently in parentheses there.
Apparently, who runs the Twitter account? Is that Michael?
It sounds based on the writing style. I think it's Michael.
Okay. Oh really? I thought it was somebody with like a little more sauce.
No, because it's the same sort of stuff you see in Telegram.
And then we got one last story to go through. We were going to cover that. Maybe we'll just cover this in depth a little bit later on, but we can talk about it now. So Umami DAO has announced that their deconstructed GLP vaults are now available for deposits. Guess what? They're already full. It took like a couple of minutes and the vaults were filled up. So
I mean, $1 million. Jesus Christ. That was probably one guy.
I tried to look at it. I'm geo-blocked. So people that are not in the United States should go and take a look at the Umami website.
That's me, finally. I can finally visit all these sites.
Yeah. Look, I mean, congratulations to Umami. If you guys have been following this story, it's been over a year. It's a long time coming. Like, full disclosure, I used to work for Umami. I don't have any of the tokens because like this group has been through some shit, like some absolute like shit. And Sam wrote a very, very good article on like what happened through Flywheel. So we'll make sure that that's like available somehow. But
yeah, I'll get that.
Anyway, the Umami, like, I'm not going to say anything about the product. I'm not going to say anything about like what happened, but like all I have to say is that I have worked with and like know the people behind that team. And like, all I can say is that I very much assume that project was going to fucking fall apart multiple times for multiple different reasons. And just like to see us get here with like, it's just amazing. And, you know, I think as much as I'm the one who says DAOs aren't real, this is all a joke, like fuck all this, like Umami is like the biggest reason I have to believe that like there's something real here. And like to understand that, you just need to know what happened. And again, we have an article, we'll send it out.
Awesome. Well, we're going to end here, but thank you for tuning in on this very soon to be Independent Day. Make sure to go out and celebrate freedoms and openness and transparency, and have a couple of beers and roast some pigs or something. I don't know.
Sam,
steak,
you need to be
barbecue.
more respectful. This is an international podcast. This is our day, but for the British, this is the day of like shame.
Exactly. Well, I mean, but that's inherent to being British. It's just like shame. So like
The one that got away.
No, we're all American here, so we can gloat. But it doesn't mean that we don't.
USA.
USA. I'm gonna be wearing my American. I've got this like shirt that's like barbecue, beer, and freedom. So that's what I'll be wearing tomorrow.
Cool.
Yeah. So have a nice
on
Monday.
stream.
Yeah, if you're in
Word
the
on stream
States,
on Wednesday.
yeah, we'll see you
Tuesday,
back on
whenever
Wednesday.
it's-
Well, maybe we'll be here tomorrow. If not, we'll be back on Wednesday. All right, see you later.